I wish I knew how to quit you. Now, all we got is Brokeback Mountain. Howdy, y'all. It's Dustin. Thank you so much for parking your boat with me. I'm back with a microphone, sock, and a dream. And you know what I'm dreaming about? I'm dreaming about a big old cowboy. A big old cowboy to tuck me in at night and sleep next to me, my bedside. That's so much to ask for. No homo, though. My country accent kind of lingers or like transitions into a British accent. I'm not amazing at accents. I don't know if y'all could tell. Today, I am wearing a Brokeback Mountain costume. Now, is this a costume I just threw together with stuff I had in my closet because I had no more costumes left for this podcast and I didn't realize that there was going to be 5 Halloween episodes? Yeah, that's exactly what happened. So, I swear to God, having this black cowboy hat in my closet has saved me numerous of times. I feel like you will always need a cowboy hat in your closet. Costume, concert, anything like a black cowboy hat is very, very useful. I was gonna do face paint so I could be more of like a rodeo clown that I've seen on Pinterest, but I didn't want to put face paint on my face because it was going to dye my skin, because that's what happened when I did the no face costume. It did stain my skin a little bit and I just didn't want to have to deal with that and have like stars on my face. So y'all are just getting a cowboy today. Y'all are just getting a Brokeback Mountain today, you know? I think it is very fitting because today we're gonna be talking about some more gay shit. Yeah, I know we did the whole gay episode, and honestly, this probably would have been a more fitting outfit to wear or costume to wear for that episode. But wait until next week's episode, guys. Next week's episode, even gayer. Yeah, can you believe it? I don't even know what's even more gay than Brokeback Mountain. What's even more gay than Brokeback Mountain? You'll see. So stay tuned for next week. We will have a special guest and also a really big announcement actually next week as well. So stay tuned for that. Anyway, today we are going to be talking about flings of horror past. Oh, scary Halloween special. I thought this would be a fun topic, especially for Halloween time. And boy, do I have a lot of stories. So personally, I have had a few flings. I've never dated anyone before the relationship I am currently in. As a lot of you guys know, I'm in my very first relationship. And while I haven't been in any relationships before this one, I have had quite a few flings. Now, here's what my definition of a fling. A fling for me is just a temporary thing. Like a temporary little situationship, a temporary little almost relationship, but it was never official. Like, that's what I think as a fling. And like, usually I would say they only last a temporary amount of time, like a week, even a weekend, maybe a month. But that's kind of the max of that. Like, it's very short, very temporary. And also for me personally, every time I've had a fling or I decide to enter into a fling, I'm aware of the situation for the most part. Like that, at least for me, like every time I've been in a fling, I've known I was going to enter the fling and I've set into that relationship as like, oh, this is going to be a fling. Like I was prepared. And a lot of times, actually, a lot of flings, and also personally for me, when I was in my fling bag, I would never really have a fling with someone that I knew I would want to be in a relationship with, which is honestly really rare. Actually, for the most part, I think naturally it just happened. Like, I think it's very rare to come across someone that you actually would want to be in a relationship with. And I personally never really came across many people. So all these flings, I kind of, in the back of my head, knew, oh, we were never going to get into a relationship. And then, but I would still like enter in because I'm like, but like, it's for fun. And I think there's a beauty to a fling. I know people have wanted me to talk about hookup culture a lot. And I don't remember if I've already talked about hookup culture in my podcast so far. I don't know. Let me know. But I used to be in my hookup culture bag. Like I participated a lot in hookup culture. I personally have never really been affected negatively. I mean, not like totally negatively by hookup culture. I think you have to be a certain type of person to be able to participate in a healthy way. And personally, I am just built that way. I am built for that. So I was able to personally do it. And I guess fling, and why I'm bringing this up is I guess flings kind of is a part of hookup culture. It is. Like, flings are hookup culture. Also, I don't know if this is like for everybody, but personally, every time I got into a fling with someone, like my standards for a fling is much lower than an actual relationship, obviously, because it's a temporary thing. So even if I came across someone and like I didn't find them super attractive, like just maybe the tiniest amount attractive, I was like, whatever, it's just a fling, I'll do it anyway. Because I think my standard for like a hookup or a fling is obviously very much lower than an actual relationship. Hence why I've been able to have so many flings. Not that I thought all these people were like super attractive and I want to be in a relationship with them, but like, it kind of just happened that way. Anyway, before we get into my own flings of horror past, okay, and share my stories, I wanted to do a little warm up, a little pregame, some may say, and I wanted to share some of your guys' flings of horror past stories. I went ahead and I posted on the Park Your Bud Instagram as well as the community channel tab on the YouTube, asking you guys for your horror hookup, love, romance stories. Not a lot of y'all sent stuff in, I will say, and that was really disappointing. Because I'm like, you guys are the ones that make this podcast possible. If you guys don't send in your stories, there isn't gonna be a podcast, okay? Same thing with getting deep in the passenger seat. Y'all need to participate. Participate, goddammit. Send in a freaking thing. Like, to have fun, you have to participate, okay? Get in the spirit. It's like during school when kids wouldn't participate in spirit days. It's lame. Participate. Send in your stories. But now it's too late because the episode's already happening, so you snooze, you lose. All right, getting into your guys' stories. Hi, Dustin. Big fan of your stuff for years. Oh boy, do I have hundreds of bad dating/hookup stories, but this is probably my most memorable one. I was on the hookup apps one day and somebody messaged me asking to meet up. I was feeling extra lonely and touch-starved, real, that day, so I said, sure, why not? They lived about 1.5 hours away from me. So they started driving. Okay, I was nervous for a second. I was nervous that you were the one driving, like you were the one traveling 1.5 hours to get to them. I'm like, damn! To get that cookie? Okay. All right. But they did it. So, okay, they're getting that cookie, period, right? Honestly, I'm not judging, though, because I actually, have I traveled very far for a hookup? I don't think so. Max, maybe like 45 minutes, an hour, because it's like public transportation. Like I had to take like public transportation for it, like subway, and like that was just always takes a long time. They lived about 1.5 hours from me, so they started driving towards me. After about an hour, they messaged me saying they got into a car accident. Oh shit. And needed help. Oh shit. So I went and picked them up from their accident. Car was destroyed, but he was fine. Wait, that's crazy. To pick up someone, a stranger that you don't know. That's wild. Okay. Oh, I just read ahead. Okay, sorry. So I went and picked them up from their accident. Car was destroyed, but he was fine. We go back to my place, and then he was such a horrible kid. Okay, the fact that, like, after his accident, he still went back to your place to hook up, that's crazy. Okay. We go back to my place, and then he was such a horrible kisser, parentheses. Like, pushed his face into my face, and I had scratches from his facial hair and crazy tongue. So we didn't even end up hooking up, and he slept on my couch. I feel bad sometimes when I look back, but also like I don't owe a man anything. Hope you're doing well. Wow. At that point, it's like, would I even come and pick them up? Like, I feel like at that point, like, you guys are strangers, you don't know each other. Like, shouldn't he be like calling the cops to report his car and then going home to check his insurance? Like, what is it? What? That's crazy. Oh my god. Like, I feel like at that point, if I was the one driving, I would Uber home. Cause like, I got stuff to do now. I gotta report the car, and now I gotta work because now you gotta pay that car off. Now you gotta pay that insurance. I've also dealt with a few bad kissers, not too many, which bless up, I'm lucky. Actually for a while there, I personally, to this day, like, I don't know. Well, I want to say I'm a good kisser because I don't even know how, but I feel like right off the bat, once I entered that hookup culture game, like, I instantly, like, first kiss I ever had, I feel like I was low-key a good kisser. I don't know if I was just blessed like that with those skills, but my thought process. Basically, I didn't know how to kiss. Like, I thought I was a bad kisser, right? Well, I didn't think I was a bad kisser, but it was just like more so I'm new to kissing. I don't know if I'm a good kisser. So my strategy was like, okay, since I haven't kissed that many people, I'm just gonna copy what the other person does. And to this day, that is always my strategy. Because if you just reciprocate what the other person is doing, like whether it's like, oh, they're using this amount of tongue, they're using this amount of whatever, then if you reciprocate that, you know that they're not going to be judging you or think you're a bad kisser because you are just doing what they did. And if they do think you're a bad kisser, then baby, you got to take a look at the mirror because I was just copying what you did. I also think a lot of people kiss differently and they think good kissing is different for everybody. Everyone has different things that they like when kissing and what they perceive as a good kisser. So by me just reciprocating whatever the other person did, then like I knew I was in the clear. Like I knew I was always going to be like a good kisser. Does that make sense? Anyway, there was this one time where we're already getting into the stories here. There was this one time where I was hooking up with this is crazy actually. Like now that I'm talking about it, I'm like, oh my God, we could have put this on the Patreon. But y'all need to get a little bit of this, okay? Like Patreon can't get everything, okay? Although Patreon, there is one story that I will not be sharing in this episode, and that is my when I got led on for 3 months last summer. If you guys want to hear that story time, go ahead and go onto Patreon. It's already over there, okay? Scroll down a little bit. It's an old story time, but it's a good one. So if you guys want to go listen to that, yeah, I got led on for 3 months by this person I met in Florence. They turned out to be in the closet, but I didn't know. Then I visited them and we had to pretend we were friends. That's a little sneak peek. That's a little sneak peek for you. Anyway, so back to the story time. I was meeting up with this person to hook up with them, and we ended up hooking up in their car. Oh. Now, don't act surprised though, because I've been there, done that. I've done that multiple times, actually. Growing up in, a suburb, growing up at home, you gotta do what you actually. I already moved out at that point. I think it was probably I was visiting Texas. Yes, I was visiting this was in Texas. I was visiting Texas. So I didn't, and I was staying in a hostel, so I didn't have like a place. So basically we were gonna hook up in this person's car, okay? And they picked me up. And I think we're just chatting and stuff, and just like being friends and stuff like that. And then we start kissing, okay? Guys, like I don't know, this person was, something was off. I don't know if it was just like we were not meant to be kissing because like maybe our mouths were shaped differently, but I swear to God, every time we would kiss, I would feel their teeth. Like there was so much teeth. Like the teeth kept like banging against my teeth and I'm like, and I literally was like, you need to kiss differently. Like I literally pushed it back and I'm like, you need to do something different. Cause like I knew I wasn't the problem. Cause I'm like, no, like I can feel your teeth. Something's wrong. Something's going on. And he's like, what? Like what? And I'm like, yeah, like something like less teeth, baby. Like softer kisses. I don't fucking know what you need to do, but your teeth keep banging into my teeth. And then we keep kissing. And I'm like, this dude keeps on teeth. There's so much teeth. And I don't know what was going on. I could tell like this person didn't have that much experience. So I was like, maybe it's that. But it's not like they've never kissed anyone. But like I knew they had a little bit of experience. So I'm like, why are you kissing like this? And then I had to bring it up again. I'm like, dude, you're like kissing kind of weird. And he's like, I can feel your teeth too. And I'm like, well, I know I'm not the problem. So I think now I'm like, maybe it was like, to be fair, he had large teeth. You know those people. I mean, do I have large teeth? I don't know. Let me know. Do I have large teeth, guys? He had pretty large teeth. You know those people that are just built with large teeth like that? So maybe that's why. I don't know. Maybe like our teeth are like anatomy, how we're built physically just wasn't compatible like that, so our teeth kept on clashing. I don't freaking know, but there was something wrong with this guy because I'm gonna blame on him because I've never had that problem with anybody ever. Okay, and not to like, I don't know, not to like be all like all that, but like I'm a whore. I was a slut. Like I was a slut, I was a whore, okay? Like proudly, confidently, not derogatory, okay? Nothing wrong with being a slut, guys. I actually I'm a big advocate for being a slut and like being like if you can handle hookup culture and I don't know, I think there's just like something important, not that it's required, but I think it's not necessarily a bad thing and you can gain a lot of knowledge and experience from just like hooking up with a lot of people. So every time like one of my friends comes up to me and is like, I think I want to enter a hookup era, I'm always like the number one cheerleader. I'm like, you go do that as long as you're being safe, okay? Don't risk it, wrap your biscuit, you know what I'm saying? But I I don't know, I just feel like hookup culture gets such a bad rep sometimes, and I understand that. Um, but I think it's because people are participating in hookup culture when they are not built for it, I guess. And anyway, how did I get into that? I don't even know how I got into that. Oh, pretty much that dude was a bad kisser. Okay. That dude was a bad kisser. Okay, one of these is hella old. It is actually from March because previously I have asked for like horror hookup stories. So I'm going to play this one. And yeah, let's react.
So I met this guy on Instagram and we've been talking for 10 days, I guess, before we decided to go on a date. So he's from a city next to mine, so I had to drove all the way there. And he said like, would you mind to pick me up in my university? And I was, no problem at all. So when I got there, he was with some friends and he introduced me to his friends and was like, oh, hey, and said my name. They were nice. So he said like, would you like to go to a party of a friend? And honestly, I didn't want to go because I was there to see him so we could talk more and meet in person. But I was trying my best, so I said, okay, yeah, let's go, let's do this. So, long story short, he got really drunk at the party. And at some point, I saw him kissing other guy. And his friends looked at me feeling so bad and feeling kind of sorry for me. Um, I didn't say anything anymore. I got in my car, drove back home, didn't cry or anything. I was just like feeling a little bit sad, but kind of surprised because I didn't expect of him doing something like that. Our conversations were good. He was like really nice. And I thought we were like, I don't know, getting at some point in a relationship. I don't know. So yeah, the next day he sent me a lot of messages, which I didn't reply. Didn't block him or anything. We still follow each other. But there was a terrible date. Um, yeah, that's it.
Oh my God. Oh my God. That's terrible. Damn. I don't even know what to say about that. I'm like, that sucks. Man, the fact that you didn't block, I would have block. Like, I'm so fast to cut people out and block people. Block. Like right away. Instantly when I saw that, I would have went home because he didn't even want to go to the party. He didn't want to go to the party. He didn't want to go to the party. I would have been like, okay, peace out, deuces, leave, go home. The fact that you drove there and it was supposed to be like a day kind, like that is so. And I know he's ugly. Is he ugly? Let me know. Person who sent that in, please let me know. Whoa, wow. I don't even actually that's kind of happened to me. Not really. I did this story time last week for the extended bonus in Patreon where I told the story about how someone made out with my crush in front of me at a Halloween party. So if y'all want to hear that story, so that's like kind of similar, but not actually because I wasn't on a date. The fact that you're on a date, even worse. That's even worse. Wow. Okay, well, getting into my story times today. We're going to start light, okay? We're going to start light, and then we're going to get into the heavy hitters. So, this one's really light. So, basically, a few years ago, I was at a concert. And I was in line at the concert, and I started, like, chatting up. Well, I didn't start this person started chatting up with me. And we were just talking a lot, and I was like, oh, like, this is a key. This person had like we were talking about like Harry Styles or something like that, and that's when I was like, oh, like because at first I didn't know if this person was queer. I was like, oh, like maybe because now thinking back, I'm like they literally had their nails painted for Harry Styles, so I'm like, what was I even talking? But like their whole vibe, I don't know. It was kind of giving like bisexual, maybe. I don't know. It they had they were just like an indie looking skater kid with like bleached hair, like frosted tips. Like that's the kind of their vibe. And at the time, that was my creme de la creme. That was like my bread and butter. So we're talking, having a good time, but then the line moves forward to like get into the venue. And we weren't directly next to each other. They were like farther behind in line, but because we were doing like a zigzag line type thing, we were like kind of next to each other. So I moved forward and we were no longer next to each other. So we couldn't really chat. And I was like, oh, dang, like, I kind of was picking up on a vibe there, but I don't know, maybe they're not, I don't know. Because I personally don't, like, at that time, I didn't like making moves like that. So I was like, oh, I was picking up on a vibe, I don't know, but maybe not. So then we kept going. And I even was talking to my cousin who was with me at the concert about it. And I was like, oh, like, I thought I was vibing with that person, but I don't know, maybe it wasn't true. And then we were about to get into the venue, right? They tap on me and they're like, hey, like, we were in the Bay, by the way. They're like, hey, I'm gonna be in LA. And this is the time I lived in LA. I'm gonna be in LA and blah, blah, blah. Can I get your number? And I was like, hey, like, I was so excited because before then, I've never gotten asked my number or gotten asked out like that, other than when a creepy dude tried hitting on me and I lied and said I was 17, but then he was like, do you want to hang out when you're 18? Anyway, that was a whole situation. I've talked about that story in the past. So this is the first time anyone's ever asked for my number like that. And I was like, oh, like, this is so exciting. This is so exciting. Keep in mind, I'm like, at this point, 20, I think I'm like 20 years old. So then I give him my number and then the concert happens. We go into the concert. And after the concert, he texts me. He's like, how'd you like the concert? Wasn't it great? Blah, 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 blah. And I'm like, oh, cool. We're talking. We're chatting. All right. Okay. Come and get that. Hey, come and get that. Come and get that kill shot, baby. Anyway, so we talk and we end up talking for like a few days. And it literally only lasted a few days before they straight up just ghosted me and didn't respond to me. And I was like, ah, damn, that didn't last very long. And I was sad about it because this was like the first time anyone's really hit me up that I thought was cute. And like I'm not the type of person that people really hit on. Like I've rarely ever gotten hit on. Maybe just like a handful of times ever. Like every time I enter a party, a club, like I know I'm not going to get hit on. It's just like something that rarely happens to me, especially at this time. Like the fact that I have a boyfriend right now is actually crazy. Like I genuinely don't know how this happened. It's just random. Like, I don't know. But like, even to this day, like I will never really get hit on or anything like that. It's just not a thing that's like a part of me that happens. I don't know why. Just doesn't happen. Skip ahead like a year, right? I'm back in the Bay and I'm like, oh, like I want to catch up with this person. Like we never got to hang out. So I reached out to them and I was like, hey, like let's hang out if you want. And I don't know if I was drunk at that concert. I wasn't though. Like I didn't have anything to drink. But they definitely look different. Okay, when I saw them I was like, oh, you don't look like how I remembered you. They looked, you know what, I'm not gonna say nothing mean, but I was like, oh, they definitely were no longer my type, I guess. So it kind of all worked out for the best. Also, they now are dating someone, okay? And I remember at that time, like, I don't even know, this was like a long time ago, but at that time I found out they were dating someone while we were like hanging out or something. So I was like, oh, like, let me go see what they look like. So I go onto their Instagram and I look and scroll and I see, oh, this is the person they're dating. And I do a little, you know, me being me, I'm the fucking FBI. I'm like getting curious. I'm like, oh, when did they start dating? So I scroll and I don't even know what I scrolled to or how I figured it out. I think I was like looking through story highlights and stuff. But I see that they posted a picture with the person they're dating very close to the time that we met and they asked for my number. Okay, are y'all getting what I'm putting down? So basically, I did a little bit more research and I find out, oh, at the time that they asked for my number, they were already talking to somebody because they dated someone very, very closely after that. And then I remember we were having a conversation about that, and they were saying how, like, oh, they were just going through a really rough time, and they apologized for not, like, talking or, like, ghosting and not responding, not being a good texter, and they're saying they were going through these certain problems and stuff like that. And then all of that for me to find out, oh, no, because you ended up dating someone around that time, and you're still dating them. You dated someone around that time. So all that was kind of bullshit. And then I'm also like, if you are already, like, almost about to date someone, why did you ask for my number? That's fucking weird. Anyway, that's the first story. Something light, something light. This next story is with a person I actually talked to for, like, maybe a month or two. I don't really remember, but I'm not gonna get into those details specifically. All you guys need to know is that they lived in the Bay and I lived in LA, so it just didn't work out. But we did end up hooking up once when I was visiting the Bay, and we were just supposed to be hanging out as friends, and then we ended up hooking up anyway, blah, 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 blah. Fast forward, okay, we ended up never talking after we hooked up. Like, after that, like, he never really reached out to me. Like, we never really talked. I was like, okay, whatever. It's fine. I'm in LA, whatever. Anyway, last summer, they end up randomly texting me. They're like, hey, like, I am thinking I'm gonna visit LA soon. Is it okay if I, like, crash at your place? Which is something I think we've talked about in the past, because we still were, like, kind of friendly with each other. So I was like, oh yeah, like, we're still kind of friends-ish, not really. No, wait, actually, that's a lie. He actually asked me after I moved out of LA already. So I was like, oh, sorry, I already moved out of LA. Like, you can't stay with me. He was like, oh, that's fine, whatever. And then after he asked me that, this was last summer, we were just chatting a little bit. And, you know, me being me, I was like being a little flirty, whatever. And I thought they were being flirty as well, because, like, why are you still, like, texting me? They also, like, sent me, like, a video or something. Nothing like, not that kind of video, guys, but it was like just like a regular video of their face talking or something like that. And then I think I said something like, oh, like, you look cute, blah, 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 blah. And then they were like, they hit me with this, guys. They hit me with this. Oh, this is like, sorry, I just wanted to say, like, I have a boyfriend. And I was like, oh, okay. And then I got to thinking, and I'm like, wait a minute, if you have a boyfriend, why would you ask to stay with me when visiting LA if you have a boyfriend? Like, that's fucking weird. Why would you ask a past fling, someone you've hooked up with, to stay with them when you have a fucking boyfriend? That's weird. And we're not friends like that. The thing is, it'd be a different story if, like, our relationship was totally changed, like, we were strictly just friends. But literally the last time I saw them, we hooked up. So I'm like, why would you ask to, what? Does your boyfriend know? And also keep in mind, like, if you're staying at my place, like, you know what would have happened? We probably would have hooked up again. So I'm kind of like, what the And then that felt usy, because I'm like, you have a boyfriend and you asked to stay at my place. And last time we talked, we hooked up. That's fucking weird. And then I think they texted me before this, actually, where they messaged me, or it was either before or after this whole thing, where they messaged me asking for connects for music. Like, they were asking for producers because they were, like, wanting to work on music. And I left that shit on red, because I'm like, after that, I was like, oh, this bitch is just trying to use me. He's just trying to use me to stay at my place for connects. Like, this dude, the only reason why we're keeping in touch right now is because he's just trying to use me. So now I don't really fuck with him. I don't really text or anything. Actually, I might end up, after, I think on my spam, I still follow him. I might need to unfollow him. It's getting hot, low-key, so I'm going to take this jacket and hat off. So actually, last Halloween, I decided, you know what? I am going to return it. Like, if you're going to fucking try to use me, I'm going to use you. And me, drunkenly on Halloween, I was at UC Berkeley because my friend was there and we were celebrating Halloween together, and I was going to crash at her place. And my Berkeley lore goes deep. Okay, I have a lot of Berkeley lore. The Florence person I was talking about before, the person that let me on for 3 months, yeah, they are a part of my Berkeley lore. It's up to the point where recently I went to Berkeley to visit my friend again, and I was like, once you graduate here, I'm done with Berkeley. Like, I have too much lore here. Like, I do not Like, I'm done here. I'm done here. I do not want to be here. But anyway, back to the story. Last Halloween, we were drunk. We couldn't find any parties. Okay, we couldn't find any parties, but we were out already. We were already drunk and out. So I drunkenly hit him up. I call him and I'm like, hey, like, do you know where we could find a party? And then fast forward, we end up at his place, pre-gaming more, and then we all go to a party together. Yeah. But it was honestly really chill. Adding on to my Berkeley lore, this also happened that same weekend. I was at a frat party, my very first frat party, and that's a whole story on how we even got into that frat party. But we got in, and I make friends with this girl, and we go to the bathroom together. And in this frat, the bathrooms are all like one, like everyone's in the bathroom, girls, guys, everyone. It's just one big bathroom. So we go into the bathroom. I'm washing my hands, and there's these two people dressed up as frat dudes, a girl and a guy. And I was like, hey, me drunk off my ass. And at that time, like, I loved dapping people up for some reason. Like, it was just kind of like a joke for me because I don't really dap people up, but like, they were frat dudes. So I was like, hey, I dap the first girl up. I'm like, hey, frat dudes, dap the first girl up. Okay. And then there's the second dude. I go in, I'm about to dap. He's like, we dap. Boom. And then he's like, oh, by the way, you're really cute. You know what? How I respond, guys? I say, thank you. Dap him up. Leave. Yeah. And now thinking back, I'm like, maybe people do flirt with me. I just don't really notice it. Like, I really don't notice when people flirt with me unless it's direct like that. Like, I do not be making eye contact with strangers like that. Like, unless you directly verbally flirt, I won't really pick it up. So maybe people do. I don't know. I feel like people don't. Anyway, that happened. And then I want to say that person probably wasn't cute because I was drunk out of my mind, but I feel like my subconscious was trying to protect me because if they were truly cute and I was interested, I probably would have responded a different way, right? All right, this is an actual, like, more true fling that I had. This one lasted, I want to say, like 2 months as well. That's kind of like the max of my flings, I'm noticing. So this person had many red flags. First of all, we met off TikTok. Boom, first red flag. First red flag. Okay, but then they were like flirting with me through the DMs, and I was like, this like doesn't happen to me. I was like, okay. Second red flag, they're from Utah. Ex-Mormon. Yeah. Yeah. Second red flag. And this dude, quite frankly, was annoying. Like, I'm just gonna say to me, he was annoying. At first, I didn't think he was annoying. Like, I thought he was pretty chill and funny, and I was like, oh, like, cool. But then after, like, hanging out with him the second time, or even kind of the first time, when we hung out, it was interesting. Okay, more red flags. First of all, this person was obsessed with the most unfunny memes. And do you guys know those people that think they're like hilarious because they post like memes on their stories? Like, do you guys understand? And it's those specifically text memes. Now, here's the thing about me. I do not think memes that are just like a picture or like a text. You know those like funny emojis and like it's like supposed to be like dark humor sometimes, and it's like those text memes. Like I don't even know how to describe it, but basically memes that are not like videos, they're not like Vines, they're not like TikToks, they're like just images. And they like, let's say like the wolf, like the alpha wolf meme. Do you guys know what I'm talking about? Like that kind of shit. This was their humor. Their humor was specifically textual memes, okay? Or like picture memes. I'm talking JPEG, I'm talking PNG. All right? And they would post that shit on their story. And one thing they would do, they would never actually be funny. And personally for me, I don't think men are funny. Men are not funny. Name a man that is funny. Right, I'll sit. I'll wait. That's why I'm always confused when girls are like, I want a funny man. Because like, name a funny man. Name a genuine funny man. Anyway. So this was their whole humor, right? And what's even worse is like, Kiki, like do that on your story. Like, I don't give a fuck. But they were so not funny in real life, but they would think they are funny because they would, every time they see a funny meme, they would show me. They'd be like, ha, here, look, ha ha ha, look. And they would just constantly put their phone in my face, showing them the meme. And then I remember like the second time like I visited them in Utah, crazy, I fucking know. And they like were constantly just on their phone. Like at all times, even when we were eating at the like at a restaurant, they were on their phone the entire time, and then just laughing at memes and showing me memes, and just like talking about his friends and how they're so funny, and like look at this meme she sent me, like all that shit. Like they would just, it's just always about that, and I was like, okay, haha, I guess. And another red flag, they were into K-pop, like so into K-pop, like knew the dances. All they listened to was K-pop. Red flag, especially me being if you're Asian, you fucking know. If a person is not Korean or just Asian and they are obsessed with K-pop, that is a fucking red flag. I don't give a fuck. That's fucking weird. Because especially in this situation, like they were the K-pop is all they listen to. Even when they study, guys, they listen to K-pop. Yeah. Another thing, when I flew into Utah, I text them. I'm like, hey, I just landed. Hey, because they were supposed to come like pick me up. I was like, hey, no response. So then after a few texts and no response, I try to call them. They don't pick up. I proceed to call them a few more times. No pickup. And I'm like, what the fuck? What's happening? Luckily, I had their location. So I had to call my own Uber. And I was like, I guess we're just gonna go to this unknown location. Like, I don't fucking know where I'm going. I just check his location. I put that address into the Uber and we just go there. And I'm like, I don't know where I'm going. I don't know how it's like, I'm just like, you know what? Like, I'm fucking here. I'm in Utah. I'm in fucking Utah. Like, this is all I got. This is all I got. All I know is like, this is his location. Gonna pull up, I guess, in an Uber. And I'm like, okay. And at this point, I'm like pissed off because I'm like, they were supposed to pick me up. So I go. Another thing is like, I could show up to this address and like, don't know where it is, don't know like where I'm going, don't know where to go. So I go, and it ends up being like the dorms of this college because he went to school there. And I'm kind of just like walking around. Keep in mind, it's winter time. It's snow. There's snow outside, so I'm like sludging through snow, and I'm just walking around like trying to call him multiple times. Because I'm like, I know he's like in the area, but I don't know exactly where he is because it's like kind of college housing. I don't know where to go. And then finally, he picks up. He's like, oh my God, like, I was asleep. I took a nap. And then he comes out, gets me, doesn't apologize, by the way. He's just like, I was taking a nap. Now you're going to fucking piss me off. Not like, doesn't like that. What? What? How do you? Okay, you basically forgot to pick me up from the airport. Like you forgot me at the airport. Huh? What? Doesn't even apologize, doesn't even offer to pay for the Uber. Like what? That's crazy. And also another thing, this is the last thing I'll say about this one. The entire week, something like I was meeting his friends, Kiki vibe. We didn't like show any affection. Like we didn't kiss at all. And I was there for a few days and I was like, what the fuck's going on? And then I remember like on like the last day or something, like about to go to bed. Oh, also like when we're going to bed, like doesn't like show any affection. I'm like, and also at this point we're romantically like talking, by the way. We're romantic. And the first time we hung out and they like visited me, like we definitely were being romantic. So the second time around I was like, this is an Aki vibe. What's going on? Like we don't hug, we don't kiss. Like I was like, what's happening? This is so weird. And I still to this day do not know what happened, right? And y'all know damn well after I flew home, I was just like, I ghosted them. Like that was all. Like I was done. I was like, I'm not fucking with you. Like this is, so I ghosted them. Okay, this is the last little fling I will talk about. So I went to a music festival, and I went to this music festival solo. And because I was there solo, I went on the dating apps because like, oh, like let me see if I can like get some dates and stuff. And then eventually I end up finding someone. We go on a date, it's chill, and then I end up just hanging out with them at the festival all weekend, and I get to hang out with their friends, and their friends were really cool. And it was just like a little fling for the weekend. It was a little fling for the festival. And this was actually, I think, one of my first flings I've ever had. It kind of was like my first taste at what a relationship is like, because I've never really had that before. So actually, I remember we went into their dorm and like their friends were there, and they were like, "Oh, do you go here?" And I would just like pretend I went there. And also keep in mind, guys, I was around college age. Okay, this was a few years ago, so yeah. Oh, anyway, and this person was like sweet. Like, they weren't really my type, if I'm being honest. Also, they were one of those people that would say they're like 5'9" or something on their dating profile, but we were literally the same height. Keep in mind, I'm like 5'6", 5'7", and he said he was 5'9" on his dating profile, by the way. And also, he's also one of those people that I think want to come across straight, even though, baby, is not working. It's not working, okay? Where like on their Instagram and stuff, like they would like try to like post more masculine pictures, but in real life, I'm like, baby, you're 5'6". Baby, you're 5'6". Baby, you're 5'6". It's okay. It's okay to be gay. It's okay to be gay. Do you guys know that video? Oh my god, that just like unlocked a memory for me. That was just like a freaking vocal stem that just popped out of my brain. I didn't even know I had that in me. Oh my god, I need to watch that video. Oh my god, do you guys remember? It's okay to be gay, did it? It's like a song on YouTube. Holy shit. Whoa. Childhood memories. Whoa, that was crazy. That was fucking crazy. Anyway, another thing is they would put bisexual in their dating profile. Baby, they're not bisexual. We had a conversation about it too, because he used to date a girl, and then he came out as like bisexual or something. And then I was talking to him, I was like, but are you gay? He's like, yeah. So like, he's not bisexual. He just says it, I guess. I don't know. So not only is he lying about his height, but he's also lying about his sexuality. And I'm like, baby, like, you're only dating guys. Everyone knows you're only dating guys. You saying you're bisexual doesn't make you more masculine. I think that's a big thing about this person. They wanted to really be masculine. But I'm like, baby, again, you're 5'6". You're 5'6". Like, just let it go. Let it fucking go and be who you are. And now I would be a little bit more kinder and show more empathy to this person if they weren't like evil. They were nice to me, but like to other people, they were evil. And I only knew them for like 3 days. So like, of course they were going to be nice to me, but like, first off, this person totally had an Asian fetish, by the way. I actually talked to them about it. I was like, do you have an Asian fetish? And because, again, like, since it's just a fling, since I'm never going to see this person again, I was like, also, like, that's just kind of me. I just have no filter like that, and I'm just going to ask the important question. So I was like, do you have an Asian fetish? Because here's the thing. We're at the festival, right? Right? We're at the festival. And we run into someone they went on a date with. No joke, recent. Like, very recently, they just went on a date with this person. And guess what? They were also Vietnamese. And that's when I was like, oh. My brain, noting that down, And it was so awkward because they like bumped into each other. They were saying hi, they were talking. And I was just standing there, did not introduce me to this person or anything like that. They were just standing there. And then after we left, I was like, who is that? And that's when I found out, oh, that's a person they went on a fucking date with very recently. And I'm like, okay, period. Also, that person did know who I was because they ended up texting him later that day and was like, oh, did I ruin the vibes with Dustin? And then keep in mind, we didn't even meet, never introduced my name. And he was like, oh, how does, like, Dust? Like, he knew you. Ha ha ha. Okay. Right? And I feel like a lot of people, honestly, at that festival knew me for some reason because there were a lot of Asians, and, you know, Asians are my community, and I know my fan base. And anyway, so I had to talk to them about that, and they're like, no, like, I don't. Like, I've dated other types of people and stuff like that. And I'm like, okay, baby, sure, yeah. But I think the majority was, in fact, Asian. So amazing. How to deal with that a lot. Anyway, so another thing is that they were very manipulative to others. Like, we would have a lot of conversation and about like, oh, like how he has these problems about dating and how like people always like he personally just wasn't looking for anything, and how people just kind of he was basically just like making himself always the victim in these story times he was telling me about like dates he would go on. He was like, "Oh, I don't know why people like get so attached to me. I tell them like I don't want to be in a relationship, and then like drama just always happens and like blah blah blah." And then I tell him like, "Hey, like maybe that is because you go on dates with these people multiple times. You're going on a lot of dates with these people. It's intimate, it's romantic. You clearly know these people like are there for romance and they want something. Of course they're maybe going to feel connected and want like these things. And just because you mention it, like actions speak louder than words. Just because you say you don't want a relationship, but then you proceed to be super romantic with these people and do all these romantic things and try to be all sweet, all like this person would do shit like he would try to say like really romantic shit and like almost like he was a big love bomber, which is the thing I'm like, don't you think you love bomb people? me midway kissing. Hey, don't you think you love bomb people? Because he was like telling all these stories, and I basically was trying to like help out these fellow people that he was manipulating, and I don't stand for that shit. And I'm like, you know what? I'm just a fling. I'm gonna be gone in a few days, so I don't give a fuck. I'm gonna make it clear. Don't you just love bomb people? Don't you think so? And he would get really defensive about it, and that's how I knew, ooh, that's a problem. That's a problem. You are a love bomber because you wouldn't be getting defensive like this. And I was like, hey, like maybe you should like treat these people with more kindness and more empathy instead of doing all this. Maybe don't do all this romantic shit with people that you don't want to be in a relationship with. And then he like, I think he just really liked the idea of people liking him and being obsessed with him. And then he liked to play the victim of like, oh, I told them what I wanted already, though. And I'm like, bitch. And then, okay, here's some things. He would just say, I don't even really remember, but he'd do this thing where he'd like try to do puppy dog eyes and be like, can I kiss you? Or like, we rode like a scooter together, like those electric scooters to like go. And he was like, this is really nice. Like, this just feels right. Or like things like we'd hold hands and he'd be like, this feels perfect. Like, I don't know. I'm like, and then me being me, I was like, we're just holding hands, dude. And he'd be like, but like our hands, they just like fit perfectly. Like they're just like the perfect size. And I'm like, okay, whatever you say, dude. We're just holding hands. By the way, I initiate the hand holding. I feel like I'm always the person that has to initiate shit, and at least in the past. Now with Eli, it's like, yeah, I'm just in a really good relationship, guys. What can I say? But in the past, I every single date I've been on, I've initiated holding hands and stuff like that. Like I've always just been a person that has to initiate things all the time. Honestly, like overall, even though I'm talking a lot of shit on this dude, he was an okay guy to me. I don't think truly he was a good guy because there was another time where okay, I swear to God. So we were going to the last day of the festival. I had my favorite flannel. Oh, this is pissing me off. So I was wearing my favorite flannel and I left it in his friend's car. And his friend ended up leaving the festival early, so I couldn't get my goddamn flannel, right? So I messaged him. He said he would ship it back to me. So I was like, okay, perfect. Like, that's my favorite flannel. That's my favorite flannel down. Okay? I love that flannel. So he said he would ship it to me. And I was like, okay, yeah, period. Yeah. Yeah, like, I trust you. A few weeks later, I messaged him. I'm like, hey, like, where my flannel at, though? And he says, oh, he had like a falling out with these girls who were like so chill. Like, I still follow them. They're so chill. He's like, yeah, like I kind of had a falling out with them. And I was like, oh my gosh, oh no, what happened? And he said something along the lines of like, I don't even know. Like they just tend to have a habit of cutting people out with no explanation. And after that, I was like, you did something, bitch. You fucking did something. Because these girls were so chill and I liked hanging out with them so much where I was like, you're definitely the problem. Like he just gave the vibe that he was like manipulating the situation where I was like, oh, you did something. And I was like, okay, but like, my flannel, like, yeah, oh, boo-hoo, like your friends break up, whatever, like friendship breakup, whatever. But my flannel, where's my flannel? Am I gonna get my flannel? And then he says, oh yeah, like he gave me a box, or she gave me a box of all my stuff, and she said it was like from her car, and your flannel wasn't in there. And I was like, so I'm not getting my flannel back, my favorite flannel back? I'm not getting that shit back? he was like, I'm so sorry. And I was like, okay. And you guys know what I proceeded to do. I went ahead, I found his friend on Instagram, I follow her, and then I DM her. I'm like, hey, like my flannel, like do you know where my flannel is? Like, cause this is how bad I wanted my goddamn flannel, guys. Like, this was a nice flannel I thrifted in LA. I'm pretty sure it was like Ralph Lauren Polo. Like, that shit was nice. That shit was nice and it fit me so perfectly and I loved it. So I was like, hey girl, like, long time no talk. Like, we keyed about Steven Universe and shit like that. Where's my flannel? Where's my flannel at, though? And she's like, you know what she says? Oh, I put the flannel in the box that I gave back to him. Huh? He said, and then I say, I'm like, oh, like, he said it wasn't in there. She's like, oh, that's weird. I swear to God, if this bitch stole not the girl is kind. I'm talking about the dude. If this bitch stole my flannel, bro, I'm about to throw hands. Now, I swear, I don't know why, but I have this inkling, like, maybe he took my goddamn flannel. I don't know, like, I have no reason to, like, I have no evidence to believe that, but the girl said she put the flannel in there. This guy's sus, you know? He's, like, my size, as I said before, because, you know, we're both the same height, no matter what lies he tells. So, yeah, yeah. Where my flannel at? And I make sure to keep track. I'm like looking at his post every time he posts. I'm like, I'm making sure he's not wearing my goddamn flannel because I'm gonna DM. You know, I'm gonna DM so fast and be like, that's my fucking flannel. That's my fucking flannel, bitch. Anyway, and that's the story of my missing flannel. Anyway, that is all for this episode on Ox this week. Okay, let's start with music. First of all, Olivia Dean's new album. I never really talked about it because I was in Spain when it came out, I'm pretty sure. But Olivia Dean. Doja Cat's new album's pretty good. I've been listening to The Sofa by Wolf Alice, Mice by Billy Martin, The Dress, Olivia Dean cover, Thank You by Bonnie Raitt, Fleeting by Sarah Kinsley, Prove Your Love by Fleetwood Mac. I've also really been loving Unsolicited Advice, the podcast. Every October, they tell scary stories on their episodes, and I also even signed up for their like supercast, which like you can get extra bonus episodes, which I rarely do for creators, and it's because I really love their podcast. It's like the perfect amount of like creepiness, but not where I get scared, you know? So I really love that. It's been getting me in like the October fall mood. I've also obviously been loving the Upstairs Neighbors podcast as well as Bretman Rock's podcast. As for movies, I've been watching a ton of movies. This week I watched some Halloween movies. I watched R.L. Stein's Monsterville: Cabinet of Souls. I don't even know why I'm mentioning this. I just thought I would. It's a horrible movie. I don't recommend you watch it. But I was watching Elvira, Mistress of the Dark. That is such a fun, campy movie. I would recommend that. And Fun Size with Victoria Justice. It's free on YouTube. And then I watched Scooby-Doo and the Witch's Ghost, and that's a good movie too. The Hex Girls are in there. So those are my Halloween movie recommendations this week. I hope you guys enjoyed this episode. If you guys want to show extra support, you can go over to Patreon to get extra content every single week. I have done a 30-minute extended bonus episode, so y'all have a lot of content to catch up on, as well as I do bonus videos as well. And there's just a bunch of content on there, more exclusive stories, like I mentioned before. The story about how I got led on last summer, that's on there. And I go into detail, and like it's more of a place where I can be more carefree because it's like through a paywall, you know? And the community on there be like this, okay? Also, for getting deep in the passenger seat, which we're not doing this week or this episode, but I do prioritize my patrons' questions and stuff like that. And you guys can suggest topics, ask me questions, do the whole shebang. And it makes this podcast possible because, as you guys know, we don't be making a lot of money off this podcast. If you guys want to, rate this podcast 5 stars. That helps out so much. And stay tuned for next week's episode. It's going to be really good. I have a very special guest, and it's going to be the Halloween episode. The podcast comes out on Halloween, which is really exciting. So, yeah. For the extended episode this week, I think I'm actually going to react to one of my love-related videos in the past. So if you guys are interested in seeing my reactions to that, go ahead and onto Patreon. Thank you so much for parking your boat with me, and I'll see you guys next week. Bye!